Today we're going to talk about Native Americans and their role in the Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War had grave consequences for Native Americans, as one may think. But the ensuing alliances during that war were not as clear-cut as one may think, meaning not every single Native American tribe fought for the British like one may think. Each had their own reasons for fighting with one side or the other, and some nations actually were split. Prior to the Revolutionary War, the British and French had established trade networks with natives. It's also important to note that to the south, in what is now Florida, the Spanish were colonizing as well, so in the southern United States. Britain tried to keep settlers and Native Americans apart through a proclamation known as the Proclamation of 1763, and basically west of the Appalachians. That was reserved for Native Americans, and settlers could not go west of the Appalachian Mountains because that was reserved for Native Americans. That was the British attempt to try to keep the parties separated. Of course, this did not make colonists happy, and some broke this law and settled west of the Appalachians, and many skirmishes occurred as a result. But it's important to note that this happened ever since the first colonists set foot on the continent in the 17th century. So the relationship was not as peaceful as one may think. Why did tribes fight for the British? As I previously said, most Native American tribes chose to fight for the British, and this is for one of several reasons. This is not an exhaustive list, this is just a couple. Some colonists wanted to expand on natives' land, and of course Native Americans did not want that because they had claimed to this land for generations, even before the colonists came to America in the 17th century. Also, the fur trade was very profitable for Native Americans, benefited both sides, and also military forts that were established because of these alliances offered protection for Native Americans in the West. Not all tribes chose the loyalist side, meaning not all tribes chose to support the British. As we will see on the next slide, some tribes chose to support the colonists, and even some tribes were split. So, the Iroquois Confederation, which is a confederation of 6 tribes in the northeastern U.S., were split 4-2 for the British. 2 fought for America, 4 fought for the British, and then the Cherokee were split along similar lines as well. So, why did tribes, particularly the Oneida, fight for America? This is because they supported their ideal to fight for freedom from the British, and they also were friends with missionaries, particularly Chief Shenandoah was friends with a missionary named Samuel Kirkland, and this helped create relations between the Oneida Nation and the what would become the American government after the war. And there's actually a statue in Washington, D.C. in the Museum of American History to signify this friendship. So they agreed to fight with the American colonists for freedom from the British, and even more crucial, a group of Oneida, whose home was in central New York, went 500 miles to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, during the harsh winter of 1777 to 1778, and brought food to soldiers, and of course that was a very pivotal moment in the war. So in conclusion, that is why some tribes chose to fight for America and why some Native American tribes chose to fight for Britain. That is a brief overview of their roles in the war. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you would like. That would massively help me out. And I will see you back here for another video.